Chapter 119 Sanshi goes all out. With the strength of the Swanwu supporting him, the soul power unleashed caused the fire web to descend at a much slower speed. His fourth soul skill, the mysterious underworld displacement, did not switch his position with his opponent. Rather, it caused his opponent to be translocated in front of him. Sanshi was calmer in such important battles. That decisive charge of his confused his opponent and caused him to slip up. After the shield of the Xuanling turtle became the Swanwu shield, all his soul skills changed too. The mysterious underworld displacement changed from its pure displacement effect to a soul skill that could both displace and translocate opponents. The mysterious underworld displacement now allowed translocation of all life within 100 meters to just right in front of him. The translocated person would also be momentarily stunned. Although it was only for 1 second, it was already sufficient for a defense-type soulmaster to do many things. If a friendly force was translocated over, the user could stop the person being translocated from being momentarily stunned. He had arrived so close to Sanshi in an instant that Li Yan did not even have time to react before he saw Sanshi's cold and scary black pupils. Following that, the Swanwu shield slammed into him. Li Yan was a Soul King, while Sanshi was only a Soul Ancestor, but the Swanwu shield caused an unimaginable impact at this moment. Li Yan still managed to react through his panic. He wanted to unleash his invincible barrier, seeing that things were not right. Everyone had prepared an invincible barrier before they came for the final. Although it was very costly, it could turn a situation around if used well. Furthermore, the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy never had a lack of money. But Li Yan miscalculated this time. Before the Swanwu shield even slammed against him, he already felt a gentle water ripple engulfing his body. He was a fire-type Soul Master, whereas the Swanwu was a water and earth type. Water was the main element, while earth was the secondary element. As his martial soul was suppressed, his soul powers retracted, and he couldn't use the invincible barrier. After all, the invincible barrier was neither auto-activating or omnipotent. The Swanwu shield slammed into him in the next moment. Li Yan's entire body turned black after he was struck, and there was a feeling of water being splashed. Countless metal shards flew out from his body in all directions. Not only this, but he seemed to have been sucked into a whirlpool. His body wasn't thrown away, and a string of booms resonated from the Swanwu shield's surface. Sanshi's first soul ring also started to flash. Mysterious underworld quake. The violent mysterious underworld quake. The ever-changing mysterious underworld quake. Or rather, the improved version of the mysterious underworld quake. Li Yan's body seemed to be struck thousands of times in that instant. His soul tool was knocked away from him, and his soul powers were dissipated. His life was also in danger. The heaven fiend Douluo reacted in time. When he noticed something amiss, he had already appeared beside Li Yan instantly. He used one hand to chop the central position where both of them had collided with each other. The black light from the Swanwu shield jerked a little, and Sanshi staggered backwards half a step, whereas Li Yan collapsed to the ground. At least 7 or 8 of his ribs were probably broken, and his internal organs were greatly injured too. If he hadn't been wearing his soul tool armor, his injuries would have been even worse. Even the heaven fiend Douluo's palm shook a little as he stopped Sanshi. This showed how powerful the mysterious underworld quake was. Sanshi was no longer simply just a defense-type soul master. A gentle, immense force dragged Li Yan's body down from the competition stage. Healing-type soul masters immediately tended to him. The heaven fiend Douluo said in a deep voice after he glanced at Sanshi, the Sun Moon team's second competing member for the individual round. Chenin, shall enter the fray. You, step back. His last few words were for Sanshi. Sanshi didn't retract his Swanwu shield, but stepped back a few steps. Another milk bottle appeared in his hand too. As he stepped back, he used the milk bottle without retracting the shield. Milky white ripples could be seen spreading outwards from his body before they were retracted back in. Sanshi. Bei couldn't help himself, and screamed from below the stage. He was the clearest about Sanshi's ability. He had fulfilled his potential by using the Swanwu shield, which also expended all his soul power. To recover his soul power to its peak state in a short period of time, he was using the milk bottle while his martial soul was still out. Although the impact on his body by his soul power was minimized by his strong Swanwu aura, the feedback on him would be too great if he left this explosive Swanwu state right now. Jiang Nanan had also slowly regained consciousness in Xiaoxiao's arms with the aid of the healing-type soul masters. Jiang Nanan was a little dazed as she saw the huge and tall figure that was retreating step by step with his back facing her, and was using the milk bottle to regain his soul power. He's doing this for me. He treats me. But complex emotions surged in this young lady's heart, and her pain didn't seem obvious anymore. Her intense distaste for a certain someone was slowly disappearing. He's indeed awakened the powers of the Swanwu. I've succeeded. But why do I feel frantic even though I succeeded? Is he really true to me? But he. Jiang Nanan's mind drifted with the scene when she saw Sanshi for the first time. Her tender face was also starting to flush. She lowered her head, as if she didn't dare to look at him on the stage. But she lifted her head very soon, and the look in her eyes changed tremendously in just a blink. There was an extra tinge of concern, or perhaps that was worry. Chenin was an official team member of the Sun Moon team. His martial soul was the Lightning Bird. He was also Chen Fei's biological younger brother, and they were only a year apart in terms of age. Compared to his brother, Chenin was only 18 this year. It was obvious that he was more talented than his brother, as he could represent the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy as an official team member even though he was only 18 years old. But he only had this one biological brother, who had always been his goal. Chen Fei was dead. He had died under Ma Shaodao's phoenix flames. Chen On's eyes turned blood red from that point on. Li Yan had lost. He had already jumped onto the stage the moment the heaven fiend Douluo opened his mouth. His entire person seemed to be on fire, and a layer of formless radiance was shining from him. He fought differently from other soul engineers. When the heaven fiend Douluo signaled the start of the competition, he leapt towards Sanshi like a bolt of lightning. He was too quick. In terms of speed, he was even faster than his elder brother. Huro Yua could only tell that Chenin was wielding a pair of short swords as his weapons, even though he had his spirit eyes. The 100 meters between them seemed to be covered so easily. That bolt of lightning surged straight towards Sanshi, and even the heaven fiend Douluo had to be absolutely focused in preparation to end this round. The radiance from Sanshi's milk bottle had disappeared when his opponent dashed out. He lifted the heavy Swanwu shield and performed an action that didn't seem related to the competition. He moved half a step to the right and tilted the Swanwu shield at an angle. He also shut his eyes at this point and sealed his vision. A streak of advancing golden light grazed past the Swanwu shield and amidst a stream of sparks. After that, a series of explosions echoed from the Swanwu shield. The frightening explosive force was too much for Sanshi. Even though he had the Swanwu shield, he retreated a few steps rapidly, and only managed to stabilize after staggering a little. Yes, Chenin and Chen Fei were different. Chen Fei used his speed, as he was a speed-type long-range attacker, whereas Chenin was a close combat soul engineer. He specialized in close combat and attacked rapidly. A powerful assault-type close combat soul tool, along with his extreme speed, made him stronger than an agility-type soul king. The pair of short swords in his hand had been molded by him 7 times. The short swords would become more powerful every time they were molded. He had made them class 6 soul tools through all his effort. One sword had a flash effect, and was extremely quick, while the other sword could invoke a thunderstorm. Once struck by this sword, a thunderstorm would rage and strike the opponent. It would also create an opportunity for the other sword. It took Chenin less than a third of a second to slow his assault. In the next instant, he had already attacked Sanshi like a bolt of lightning. Sanshi started to shift his feet, and his small steps changed repeatedly. It appeared that his actions were out of tune with the oncoming bolt of lightning, but he was able to dodge behind the Swanwu shield. A close combat soul engineer was offensively stronger than a long-distance soul engineer. While the soul tool rays and soul tool cannons looked very dazzling, only a close combat soul tool could unleash the effects of a soul tool to its fullest. Sanshi's defense had reached a soul king standard with the Swanwu shield supporting him. However, he was still forced back by Chen On's relentless attacks. He couldn't even stand properly. A streak of flashing light left streaks and streaks of shrilling sparks. Bolts and bolts of lightning brought booming, reverberating sounds with them. Sanshi was in great jeopardy now. He was at risk of perishing under the pulsating bolts of lightning. He was getting closer to the edge of the stage. If this continued, Sanshi would certainly be forced off the stage even if he could resist Chen On's attacks. However, Chenin changed the direction of his attacks at this point. Sanshi had to retreat laterally because of this. Rascal, what are you doing? The Sun Moon Team's teacher could not help but scold furiously. Shannon was on the verge of victory earlier. He wants to take revenge for Chen Fei. This fellow. Ma Rulong was a little annoyed as he shut his eyes. What else could he say? If it were him, what would he do? Shannon didn't force Shu Sanshi off the stage, as he wanted more time to attack. He wanted to find a loophole and kill him. Shu Sanshi was forced to retreat laterally. He was staggering now, and could be killed at any time. The Heaven Being Douluo was experienced, and could tell Shannon's motive. Boom. An explosion rang from the Swanwu shield. Shu Sanshi's hands also trembled a little, and he staggered backwards quickly. He wanted to use his soul skill to make up for his shortfall, but Shannon's speed increased to its peak at this instant. Shannon's flashing sword stabbed towards Shu Sanshi rapidly. The Heaven Being Douluo hesitated for a while. He could tell that Shu Sanshi was unable to dodge this blow, but he saw Shu Sanshi's Swanwu shield lighting up too. He could end this round if he made his move, but he couldn't determine the victor. That was why he hesitated. He didn't strike with the hand he lifted, as he didn't want to influence the result. PSHD. The flashing sword stabbed into Shu Sanshi's chest. Intense lightning flashed across his chest, and his entire person seemed to be coated with a layer of lightning. No. Below the stage, the critically injured Jiang Nanan sat up. She let out a sorrowful groan, then spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. How could Shu Sanshi not hear that? His eyes were filled with resolve initially, but a shred of comfort appeared when he heard that sorrowful groan. The lightning that spread across his body was the effect caused by the flashing sword. As the sword stabbed into his body, the flashing lightning surged in his entire body and could even tear it apart. Shannon was delighted when he managed to stab Shu Sanshi successfully. He muttered to himself, "Elder brother, I've avenged you." However, his smile stiffened up at this point. Shu Sanshi's body was covered on flashing lightning, but there were too many bolts of lightning on his body. Just as Shannon was stunned in place, a gentle ripple undulated, and Shu Sanshi's tough Swanwu shield softened. It turned into rippling water that engulfed his body internally. Shu Sanshi had been waiting for this moment for too long. Against a close combat soul engineer, his mysterious underworld displacement was useless. Bringing his opponent close to him would only enable his opponent to increase his frequency of attacks. The mysterious Underworld Quake couldn't even quake at a speed that matched up to the opponent's rate of attack. That was why he could only wait for an opportunity to arrive. Did Shu Sanshi slip up just now? No, of course not. He had intentionally revealed a crack in his defenses. That was because he could clearly sense that he was unable to hold on, as his soul power was depleting quickly and his opponent was attacking him relentlessly. He had no chance to wait any further, thus he needed to take a risk. The Swanwu shield turned into a ball of black watery light that engulfed Shannon precisely. In the next instant, a huge illusory Swanwu shield appeared behind Shu Sanshi. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.